Okay. It's the 1-year anniversary of Occupy Wall Street. Can you believe it? They're one. They don't seem like they're acting even 1 year old, do they? They had a few hundred protesters show up today on the streets. They were trying to provoke police by breaching barricades, popping balloons, trying to get them to sound like a gun. They were blocking streets. It led to 50 arrests by 9:30 this morning. The turnout was disappointing for occupiers who desperately want to regain the momentum they had a year ago. But there is a disturbing trend here. Perhaps Occupy's PR department missed the mark by describing their own protest as roving carnival of resistance. That's just stupid, but this is dangerous. Black flags. They are now putting black flags in with white writing. We've watched these guys for over a year. I have guys who have lived with these clowns for a while. Nobody on my team has ever seen these flags before, at least with Occupy. Remember, we saw them again last week in the Middle East. We saw them there. Last week at the embassy protests. It's a standard jihadist graphic design. Remember, the rioters over in Egypt were standing in solidarity by wearing the Guy Fawkes masks. They were standing with the occupiers. I want to show you another sign in Turkey that just came out today. Right here. Wait for us, White House. The black flag is coming soon. Okay. That's what's happening around the world, and gee, it's almost like they're working together. Now Occupy is expressing solidarity with the embassy jihadists. Occupy is using a jihadist symbol, as jihadists are currently setting the entire world on fire, which reminds me, indeed, the world is on fire. Remember when I showed you this map? I showed this to you when I was at Fox. I'm going to come back to this map here a little bit later, but everybody said this was crazy when I said this is the way the map is going to look. And if you look at where I set fires, it's exactly where the fires have been set now, but it's even spread beyond that. You see, these things happen just like I said they would when Tunisia happened. It starts small and it spreads. And then the rest of the world will see when we are at our weakest. And that's when everyone will strike. Well, a lot of people say that China is our best friend and they have to have us because they hold all of our bonds. Well, if the media weren't so incompetent and they weren't, quite honestly, so treasonous, they would have told you the truth. China stopped buying our bonds. Now, the Fed owns about 60% of all of our debt. 60%. China has slowed way, way down. And China is in trouble. Now, China is a communist country and have hefty crackdowns. They don't have riots in the streets that last very long unless the Chinese government says they can. This is from a riot that just happened. This is a Honda dealership. You'll see that's the dealership Honda in the background, the people in the cars in the background. But on this banner, right here in the blue and white in the back, it says, "Defeat the Japanese demons." Okay? This isn't the only one in China. And this is being allowed to happen because the Chinese government is worried about an economic collapse in China. And so they need to nationalize, bring everybody in and say, we're one nation and those are the bad guys, get those guys. So the people don't riot and turn on the government. They instead blame an outside party. They're blaming Japan, and it has now begun. Here's a Toyota dealership. This does not happen in China. Eventually, China and the rest of the world will look to us because we will be the one that gets the final blame, especially with an apologist in chief. But let me go back to the Middle East. It all started in Libya and Cairo. Now, the U.S. consulate in Pakistan today was attacked. One person was killed, dozens injured. 3 are dead in the Sudan embassy attack. Violence has sprung up all across the Middle East in places like Yemen and Afghanistan, Tunisia and Turkey. And the administration's explanation for all of this violence doesn't add up at all. They say it's the anti-Islamic video that caused it. Really? The media has swallowed that lie and regurgitated it, vomited in your living room. Salman Rushdie says, film that sparked Mideast unrest disgraceful. Really? New Muslim protests erupt over the Prophet Muhammad film, and the increasing violence isn't even the lead on the network. Nope, it's not. What's leading the networks now? Well, ABC had this. Romney campaign staffer denies disarray. And then, I love this one, Italy magazine goes ahead with topless Kate pics. That's what ABC News is covering. You're not being told the truth, probably because the facts that are coming out are devastating to the administration, probably even criminal. I want to talk to you about something more serious than I think I've talked to you about anything before. You know, we've talked about this president not liking America, this president maybe being on the wrong side, etc. But this one is really dangerous. And I want to give you some perspective here. Richard Nixon told America that he wasn't a crook. Do you remember?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
Okay. If you're my age, you remember that moment. He was lying. And I contend most people knew that he was lying, but a lot of people, Republicans back then, did what Democrats did with Bill Clinton and what Democrats are doing now with Barack Obama. For Nixon and Republicans, the R is what mattered. And they couldn't believe it from their guy. And with Clinton and now with Obama, the D is what mattered. And if it matters more than principles and values, we are a nation not in decline. We are a nation that is done. With the people with Nixon, people wanted to know if their president was a crook and a liar. And when they found out that he was, they got rid of him quick. Clinton was just a liar, and apparently we're totally cool with just a liar as long as you're not a crook. But with Clinton, you wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess, because we are Americans and we accept mistakes. If you show true regret, people are willing to move past mistakes. But if someone makes a mistake and then tries to cover it up, and it's not about their personal life, people have real deep problems with that. Nixon really wasn't involved in the break-in, but he covered his tracks. He covered the tracks. He wanted to keep it away. So it wasn't the crime, it was the cover-up. Now, the media back in the 70s did their job and exposed it. I contend the media knows what's going on in Libya, or at least has enough questions, because any rational person has enough questions that will lead you to places that aren't good for the president, especially with all the cover-ups going on right now. The question is, will anyone in the media have the guts to take this administration on? If they don't, the other question is, can this audience, or a few audiences and people on the blogosphere and in the internet, can they break a story and have it have impact? This could be a huge story with criminal implications. And if not, then you know what? We're just going to settle for the topless pictures of Kate Middleton, because we'll get what we deserve. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what they say happened in Libya by the media. It's 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock. Spontaneous protesters opened fire on the main consulate building, simultaneously from 3 different directions. The perimeter was breached within minutes. Now, according to witnesses, 30-plus guards that were there put up little, if any, resistance at all, and they left. 10:15, consulate engulfed in flames. Most escape, raced by a convoy about a mile down the road to a supposed safe house. Stevens doesn't make it there. 10:45, security staff regroups, tries to take back the main building, but they encounter heavy fire and retreat. 11:20, more back, and a second attempt to get the main building. Fighting erupts at the supposed secret safe house, and it lasts 2 hours. The attack was described as intense, deadly, and accurate. It featured automatic weapons, RPGs, mortar fire, so accurate that it rained down exactly on the walkway that leaves the house. Officials described the accuracy as too good for ordinary revolutionaries. 2 former Navy SEALs, they were originally described as Marines, die in the firefight, but we now know they were Navy SEALs. 1:15, Stevens' body was taken to the hospital, unable to be revived. But shortly before the attacks, one of the Marines, now we know as a Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL, who works for the State Department, one of the guards for the ambassador. He dies alongside the ambassador. He posted online before all this started that he had seen suspicious people. He had posted that on a website for the gaming community. And here's what he said. Assuming we don't die tonight, we saw one of our police that guard the compound taking pictures. Really? This was not an angry mob with a few pitchforks, torches, guns. They were watching from inside. They were watching all the exits. Now here's the explanation that is the official one from the White House. Okay? See if this makes sense to you.
Were in reaction to a video that had spread to the region.
At Benghazi? What happened?
We certainly don't know. We don't know otherwise. We have no information to suggest that it was a pre-planned attack. The unrest we've seen around the region has been in reaction to a video that many Muslims find offensive. And while the violence is reprehensible and unjustified, it is not a reaction to the 9/11 anniversary that we know of or to U.S. policy.
The American people have got to know if their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. U.S. Ambassador Susan Rice said this.
What sparked the recent violence was the airing on the internet of a very hateful, very offensive video. We are of the view that this is not an expression of hostility in the broadest sense towards the United States.
Got it? So they're very clear. They're all out on record. This is about the video. It had nothing to do with anything else. Forget about anything else. Focus on the video, which is exactly what the Muslim Brotherhood wants you to do because they're attacking our freedom of speech. So the White House is saying, focus on the video. Why? There's too many questions. The explanation flies in the face of the obvious facts. Okay, so now Alan West, he fires back.
But when I listened to the UN Ambassador Susan Rice today, several words came to mind: asinine, naive, inept, incompetent, and borderline ignorant.
Okay. Now, I trust Alan West's military experience, but that was harsh. So let's get down to somebody that maybe has no reason to say the president is lying to you. How about the guy who certainly doesn't want to look like his country is overrun by rebels that are going to kill all Americans? The president, the new president of Libya. Here's what he said, quote, "The idea that this criminal and cowardly act was spontaneous protest that just spun out of control is completely unfounded and preposterous. We firmly believe this was a pre-calculated, pre-planned attack that was carried out specifically to attack the U.S. consulate." Got it? See, there's a million questions that have to be asked that the media is not asking. They're not asking. They're not asking, why was the ambassador in Bengali in the first place? How often does he go there? It's time for answers to these questions. I'll give you these questions, and then I'll give you my hypothesis, which I believe is probably pretty darn right on the money. And you tell me if it's the crime or the cover-up. Back in a minute.